Hi everyone, this is Kelly with Kelly Ann Crafts. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in McKinney, Texas, and this is my last card. And what we are going to feature on this card is we're going to feature the paper from Thoughtful Journeys. It's in the online, not the online, the annual catalog, and we're specifically going to use this piece here. And let me show you what we're going to make. I just thought this was so much fun. I did a variation of this last year, and this year this one's going to be great. I just love it. I love it, love it, love it. It's so much fun. It is a fun fold, okay, and it can stand up if you want it to, but really it's a Z fold. How easy is that? I'm just ecstatic with how easy this is. Now, when I made this card, I was using the ephemera pack that is in the annual catalog, and it's called Greetings for All Mix and Match. And what's fun about this, it had Merry Christmas, Sorry for Your Loss, Happy Holidays, Happy Father's Day, Thinking of You, Mother's Day, a number of things, but it also had Easter. So it had two things of Easter. It had Happy Easter in this long format. It also had Happy Easter in this format. Now, the card I'm making today will have this format because everyone who got a kit from me got this format. So I'm just showing both variations for you, so you're not thinking, hey, mine doesn't look like that, or I didn't get the same pieces as she's showing on the video. So let's get started with what we have in our kit. We're going to start with, you're going to have some embellishments in there. um, there you are. This one has no embellishments. I'm thinking of a different card already. You're going to have your envelope. You're going to have a piece for your envelope, and we're going to go ahead before I go any further. We're just going to adhere that on here. Um, as you can see, I just go fairly quick with the glue. I squeeze, and then I'm going to put this on here, and then it can dry while we're making the card. And I go up to the crease there. I kind of fan it out that way, and then I come in with my bone folder later, and I just really press down, making that glue flat. It'll dry better if it's spread out. So that's just going to go off to the side till we're done with our card. And let me show you the rest of the items. We have a piece of ribbon. It is gold and white ribbon, and it's really pretty. And then we have our card base. Our card base is 7 inches by 5.5, scored at 4 1/4 and 6 3/8. Okay, we are going to have two pieces of white, a basic white, and this is going to be 5 3/8 by 2 inches. We will have two pieces of designer series paper, and these are 2 inches by 5 3/8. And then we have um, a piece of Peacock. This is, let me get to it, because if I'm not on the right page, I'm going to quote the measurements wrong. But for the cross, this is the cross itself, the peacock piece is 5.5 by by 1 1/4. So 1 1/4, 5.5. The designer series piece, that is the wood, that is 1 1/8 by 5 3/8. So you're just going to have a scamp border around it. And then this piece here is 3 3/4 inches. The peacock is 3 3/4 inches. The wood piece is by 1 1/4, and then the wood piece is going to be 3 5/8 by 1 1/8. Okay, and then there's my piece of ephemera. So I'm going to set that up to the side, and the first thing we're going to do is we're going to burnish, and then we're going to adhere these pieces. So let me bring in a bone folder, and then we're going to fold this back onto itself because we're making a Z fold. Just think Z fold here. This is our Z fold. Okay, so that's our Z fold. And now we're going to adhere one piece of designer series paper, and I'm going to use glue, so in case I have to slide it a little bit, I have some option to do that. Sometimes with tape, if you don't get it, you get it down and then you can't move it. So this is the inside of the card, and it's going to be about a 1/16 of an inch border all the way around. It's a little bit off. There we go. That glue just let me slide it. And because I'm using glue, I'm going to come in here and I'm going to do that. The next thing I'm going to add is I'm going to add a piece of white. Okay. And I'm using glue again with this. I'm going to use glue through most of this project. If you are really, really, really good with tape, feel free to use, the tape runners. I am not that good with it. This next piece of white's going to go on. Again, we're looking at that, just that 1/16 of an inch up at the top and bottom. And there we go. And now we're going to put our last piece of designer series paper on. And we're closing in on what I think is the hardest part of the card, and that's the ribbon. I know it sounds silly, but that is the hardest part of this card. Maybe cutting. I don't know. I don't think cutting's that hard. But there we go. So that's like that. Isn't that a beautiful background? I mean, when it's like that, it's just so pretty. And I didn't have to paint it or stamp it or buff it or anything. So I'm going to put my cross together next. So I'll just set that aside for a second and glue these on. Again, glue, just because it's such a thin border, gives me a chance to just move it if I need to. And I always hold it at the ends when I'm putting it on so that I can, I can slide it around. I don't push it too far. That's looking pretty decent right there. I'll take that. After I think it's in the right spot, then I come through and do that. And then this one the same way. I'm hoping all of this is in camera. I'm pretty sure it is. There we go. Here we go. So now I have to build the cross. You don't want it like in the middle. You want it a little bit, kind of 3/4 of the way up. I know it's the middle of this, so I'm just going to put glue in the middle here. And then I'm going to, I think that is a pretty good spot for it. Does it look pretty even to me? It's a nice line on there that's even. That's looking pretty even. Okay, I'm going to say that's our cross. Oh, I got it. I made it move. Oh my goodness. There we go. Okay, so now this piece is going to get adhered onto here. And to make sure it's this side of the cross, so I don't mess it up, I'm actually going to put my adhesive here. And I would put, if you're using a tape, like an adhesive tape runner, make sure it's a super strong one, because this is the mechanism to open your card. And you want to make sure that you've got a good, seal there. So when it's moved back and forth, it's good that way. Okay, so now, like I said, we're going to come to the hard part. And the hard part is just draping that so it looks like it's draped. There. It's like, where did I put my glue dots? There we go. Okay, so The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take a pokey tool of some sort. You can use your pick tool if you have one, or anything that gives you a point. And I am going to put a piece of a glue dot right there. I'm going to find the approximate metal of this, and I'm just going to adhere that there. That looks pretty good. Now I want to bring this over to the other side, okay? But I want to put a glue dot back here too. Okay, so I figure out if that looks pretty good, and I come in with a glue dot without stabbing ourselves with the pokey tool, which I almost did. That wouldn't have been fun. That would have been a quick video. Sorry, I have to leave. I just stabbed myself. Okay. And let me put that on here. Okay. And that's well, that's pretty loose, but that's okay. We'll put another one on here. If I don't like where it's at and it hasn't been too long, I can carefully lift this up and move it. Like maybe it needs to be just a little bit snugger. Snugger, that's a word. We're going to snugger it. That looks pretty good. Because then when I put in another glue dot under there, it'll make it look nice. Then we're going to do the same thing to the other side. So I'm going to bring this over here, flip that up somewhere, put a glue dot down. And I would not use wet glue for this. I would use a glue dot. You could probably use adhesive if you can put adhesive on really lightly. But I would use a glue dot for this just because it's easier. Okay, so now I'm going to come in here with 2 more glue dots. And let me make sure I'm getting them all. There's one. And I'm going to take a glue dot right under here. And I'm going to just fold that into it. So it's like that. This is just the underpinning of this ribbon. And it really is the hardest part of the whole card. I mean, the whole card is pretty easy, but this part is the part that is like, oh. And again, that one seems a little loose, so I may just have to lift that and do it again. And just move it down a little bit more. There we go. There we go. That's looking pretty good right there. So now I'm going to come in and put my little ephemera on. Now, if you've got the straight one, you're going to try to put it so it covers what you've set down there. And I know this looks like overkill, but I'm putting 3 of them on this little piece, and it's because I need to hold down that ribbon. Okay, so, but I think when it's all said and done, it looks really cool. Happy Easter. There we go. So now all we have to do is trim our golden white ribbon. Golden white ribbon is trimmed. I just think these are fun little cards. And then I'll trim around the back side of this so that it's ready, and then we're done with this card. And last year it was like a 3D pop-up card, and it was really fun, but it was hard for a lot of people to, number one, get the measurements. It seemed too complicated. And this gives kind of the same effect, I think. I really like this one. And it's just a little Z-fold. I have seen other demonstrators doing something similar to this, and I'm not sure who I saw, so I would give them credit, but I know that I'm not an original on this. And Let's see, that all looks good. And there we have it. So we have our Happy Easter card that can have the one Happy Easter ephemera, and then the other one is like that. But again, this can stand up. I love that. It could stand up. So if it was standing up, you could have it like this. So maybe you put your message there, and but it will stand up. I love that. I hope you enjoyed this, and I hope you have a, seeing how we're making an Easter card at the end here, and it's just about a couple weeks away when you watch this. I hope you have a blessed Easter if you celebrate, um, and a holy Passover if you celebrate that. And if you don't celebrate any of that, well, I just hope you have a wonderful day. God bless, and we will see you on our next video. Bye-bye.